Welcome back to your favorite cyclist YouTube channel. This time we're talking about my new fat bike, the Mongoose Beast. But before we get into today's video, if you are new to my channel, make sure you head down below, hit that subscribe button for me. If you already are subscribed, make sure you hit that little bell icon right next to that. That way you get notified every time I upload some awesome cycling content, so you don't miss any of it, especially don't miss any fat bike content coming up soon. So right on into the video, this is my new to me Mongoose Beast fat bike. So some of you have seen this in my background on some of my shorts or other videos I've had posted already. I've had this bike for about 2 weeks now. This is a bike that I've wanted for quite a long time. The Mongoose Beast came out about 10 years ago, back in like 2012-ish, and that was about the time fat bikes started to become something that existed. Something that was starting to become a little mainstream thing. And this, of course, was Mongoose's first entry into the fat bike market. This, of course, is sold at Walmart or Target. You could pick up a fat bike at either one of those stores, and you can walk out of one of those stores with a nice fat bike, ready to go rip it on your fat bike. That's kind of a crazy thought nowadays when you don't see fat bikes very much at all now. It's mostly back to mountain bikes and back to plus size tires, not really much in the fat bike sense of things. So let's talk a little bit more about this bike and why I made this bike mine. So this bike is essentially all original. Nothing much has been changed on it except for the main contact points. Of course, with those, we got some ODI grips up there, the long necks. We got a saddle on here. This is actually one I'm borrowing off of Project Mongoose. Pretty basic saddle. And then of course we got some pedals. These are some Race Face Chester knockoff pedals that I got put on here just so I can get a good feel for them. These are a little bit wider than the Race Face Chester, so we're hoping to get some good riding out of those pedals. Other than that, this is essentially how this bike came out of the box and was set up as. So let's talk a little bit more about what we got going on here. So let me move out of the way a little bit here. So of course this is a single speed fat bike. Yeah, that's an interesting one, huh? Single speed fat bike. Making one more for you. This has a coaster brake. That's right, this brakes just like your beach cruiser does. It is a very interesting setup on this bike versus what you find on any bike or what you'd expect to find on any kind of fat bike like this, but it is a single speed coaster brake bike. So it is a very interesting one to ride. There's no hand brakes, you pedal brake with your feet. So it's definitely interesting to ride, I'll give it that. I've been riding this around just for fun for the past 2 weeks, and it is interesting to ride, especially coming from any type of bike other than this bike. It's totally different. So we got that going on there, of course. We do have a nice 3-piece bottom bracket, which is a nice thing for them to put on here. So you do have that. It is a ball bearing bottom bracket, so no sealed bearings, none of that, but it does work. I'd rather have a 3-piece than a 1-piece any day of the week. So that works good. I like that. Good job, Mongoose. Good job. Tires, of course, that's what you all want to know about. So these tires are a 26-inch by 4-inch. Yeah, 4-inch wide tire. These tires are gigantic. It just feels so out of place riding this thing down the street, but it is so much fun. You look down at the tire, it's literally like that wide. It's something that you don't expect to think about or don't expect to see while you're riding a bike at all, as the tire is that big in front of you. But it has those 4-inch wide tires on this bike. So moving on from there, it is one of the weird ones that has an 1.8" threaded headset. So most of 1.8" is a threadless headset. This has an 1.8" threaded headset. It does work, potentially upgrade in the future, but that does work okay there. Pretty standard kind of BMX style bars. And going off from there, it's pretty basic. So it's just a steel frame fat bike. Going off of weight, this thing weighs about 60 pounds. That's not a light bike at all. This bike is ridiculously heavy. So these are, like I said, everything's pretty much the original as it was coming out of the box. So these tires on here, of course, coming as a Mongoose, they're not the best of anything. Well, let's just go for the tubes in these. The tubes in these are about a pound each. Pound and a half each. They are ridiculously heavy just for the tubes. You go to the tires and they're like 2.5 pounds. They're ridiculously heavy tires. I don't understand this. The wheels are super heavy. Everything on this bike is made just to be heavy. It's a Mongoose. The Mongoose bikes, especially their single speed ones or their coaster brake setups, they're just made to be beefy and take any contribution, give them, and fight back and continue to go on another day. And this bike definitely does that for sure. So, is this going to be a bike that's staying in my stable? You know, there's been a lot of bikes that I've bought that I've just kind of flipped around and sold right off the bat, right? Fixing them. This bike is mine. This bike is here to stay. So what are we going to do with this bike? Well, it's still in the winter time. We're going to do some snow riding once it finally decides to snow more than like half an inch here. So we're going to do some snow riding, of course. We need to drop a little bit of weight on this bike. Like I said, it's like 60 pounds. So it's a heavy, heavy bike, and you can feel it. you try a wheelie or do anything, but even bunny hop on this bike, and it doesn't happen. This bike is ridiculously heavy again. So we're gonna do some weight savings on here. We're gonna try and knock the weight down a little bit more. You know, there's a couple options with this one, but it being so heavy, number one is gonna be knock the weight off of it. Try and get some weight off of this bike any way you can. That's gonna be number one. Number two would be to re-gear the bike and change up our gear ratios. I'm thinking we could probably knock enough weight off of this that this gear ratio is gonna be pretty good. This gear ratio feels pretty solid. You're at the point of struggling though, with just how heavy this bike is, but I think we can drop enough weight in this bike to make this gear ratio work, make it a little bit more fun of a bike. And of course, you guys are gonna come along for that journey and see me do some weight saving things on this bike to hopefully drop the weight down and have some fun on the Mongoose Beast. So hopefully you guys are excited for some fat bike content coming up. This bike is staying with us. This bike's gonna be a ton of fun on the channel. So make sure you are subscribed again. If you did like the video, give it a big thumbs up. Appreciate the support. Any comments or questions, let me know down in the comment section below. Love chatting with you guys. Love answering any questions you guys have. And we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching today.